What's up? Welcome back to Stoke Slalom Collective. I'm SBC.
And I'm Josh Byrd, and in this video, we're going to be walking you through the entire weekend of the 2025 Texas Sizzler. Let's go.
What's up, everyone?
We are in Texas. Texas Sizzler.
XX.
20th anniversary of Texas Sizzler is this weekend. Crazy, I think we were both at the first Texas Sizzler ever, and I bombed a hill with no thought of the end. So
Before Hockley Hill, but now we have this great recreation center, which is the Derby Hill that we all love.
we actually got rained out today, so it's been raining all day, on and off. So race organizers decided to call it for today. We're going to go up to the hill here in a little bit and do a little racer meeting, get checked in.
GS that was supposed to be today for Friday, but it's moved to tomorrow morning on Saturday, making us have GS and hybrid on the same day.
Doubleheader tomorrow. We're going to go up to the hill here in a little bit. Hopefully we can get some practice runs in. If not, we'll practice bright and early tomorrow morning, kick off racing around 11 tomorrow, so we'll be sure to bring you guys along. Day
Good
two.
morning.
We got rained out yesterday. Giant didn't happen. No skating yet here at the Texas Sizzler, so we're on day two. It's looking a little cloudy.
Getting the ramp built. The course is set. Some people have tried to start just feeling it out, and the ground is a little too moist, especially on the paint strips, and some people are slipping out. So clouds, I'm sure you can see behind us, aren't looking great.
Starting to rain a little bit here.
It's not supposed to. Hopefully the weatherman is right.
Whenever it dries out and the course is safe to run, we'll run for Giant, and then we'll go straight into hybrid today.
The game for me is longevity and endurance. It's something I need to really improve on, and so this weekend's going to test that with GS hybrid. Hopefully I can make it into the finals of hybrid later on today, and that way it sets me up for the better overall for tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
Yep. We've also got a lot of women here this weekend. I think we have 9 women competing. We've got some new skaters out here as well, so I'm really excited to see the women's competition this weekend. Let's do it.
We have approximately 47 cones there. That means that you can hit 5 cones. If you hit more than 5 cones, that's a DQ.
Hockley's Derby Hill is the only structure in this area, so the wind is usually pretty gnarly. And Felipe is going to show us that there is indeed a tailwind. But let's go ahead and take a look at our course today.
For GS, Chuck Dinkins is going to take us through the hill. The third and fourth cones were the first biggest stretch where everybody was scrubbing speed. And then once you got towards the bottom, you kind of had to be ahead of the game.
These offsets right here are really tricky because you've been pushing really hard down the hill, and then you had some tricky offsets that you really had to send it on when you have all of your speed. The bar really helped some skaters, like Junior Kelly Aponowitz. He came off the bar and was able to get to 11th place, while Joe McLaren came off at the regular ramp and was able to only squeak into the top 10, grabbing 10th position. 3 women were able to skate into the top 16. Maggie Harrison came in 16th with a 29.28. I was able to get 15th with a 27.86, and then Lynn Kramer in 6th position.
Our top 5 ended up being Jonathan Harms in 5th. I ended up getting 4th place just behind Lou Statman in 3rd. Orion Lehrman got 2nd place, and Colin Cruz came in sub 17 with a 16.937 for 1st place in GS.
After that, we moved into our second race of the day, moving into hybrid slalom. Joe McLaren's going to ride our course for us.
Starting at the top, it threw you some wild offsets to throw you off your rhythm, and then got really tight in the middle section, and then stretched it back out for more offsets. Then you had to be really cautious with your speed because the very last 5 cones got really tight.
This is a really tight hybrid course. We saw a lot of cones hit on this hill, especially with the tailwind that we had at Hockley. Everyone was split up into their division's bracket, then we battled head to head to see who would win. In the round of 16, we saw a battle of Southern California, Lynn Kramer versus Kelly Aponowitz, with Lynn Kramer moving on to the round of 8. Josh took on the Texas outlaw Jeff Minks and was able to advance on to the round of 8 as well.
Joe McLaren and Lynn Kramer battled it out for the top 8, with Joe advancing.
And then, like always, I actually went up against my buddy Colin Cruz in the round of 8, and this time he moved on to the top 4.
But he didn't make it much further past that because he had to race against 9-time world champion Joe McLaren, and actually took it to him a little bit, but he wasn't able to win out on that one. So he got to race Kyle Smith in the consolation round to see who would win bronze. In the final matchup, we saw Joe McLaren take on Orion Lehrman to see who would top the podium.
These two guys are super powerful in their hybrid racing, and their head-to-head is amazing to watch.
You can see how they really sync up through this course. They're pretty much on the same exact cone at the same spot the whole way through. It's really cool to see.
And there's no holding back.
But in the end, Joseph Kyle Smith was able to come out with the bronze. Joe McLaren took the silver, and Orion Lehrman would take the gold. Lynn Kramer topped the women's division, coming in 8th place overall, with only one other woman skater getting into the final 16, Issa Ruiz. As the sun set, we moved into our B division and raced head-to-head to see who would win the B class.
The B class comprised of 16th through the 32nd placements, and it was great to see them racing under the night lights.
In the B class, I raced up against Ben Buckles and then got to take on Luke Polly. I actually beat him on the first round, but then DQ'd in the second to hand him the round of 4. He went on to race Frankie Custodio and beat her out as well, with Joe Lem and John Nakama racing as well, with John moving on to the final. Frankie ended up getting 3rd place in the B class, with John Nakama getting 2nd and Luke Polly getting 1st.
Before we got started with tight slalom, we presented the 2024 USA Slalom Skateboarding Awards.
So let's get into our awards. All of these awards were nominated at the US Nationals last year. Our first award celebrates 3 of our coolest and most exciting matchups that we saw. The best matchups. In Italy, we saw the much anticipated matchup of Mentor versus Mentee. The first best matchup of 2024 is Judy and Leola at World Skate Games in Italy. For our next matchup is the best for the Byrd siblings at Luna Slalom Jam. So Josh won, in case you were curious. And this last matchup is Joe and Orion at the Hometown Classic.
The name of this is Gnarliest Crash Award. Our winner, which is Mr. Ben Buckles at Hometown Classic. So our next one, this is the most improved of 2024. Jeff Minks. Yeah! Next one's a new award. Couldn't do this award with just racers. This is an ambassador award. Maria Carrasco.
Now we're going to move into the big guns. 2024 Juniors of the Year, Kelly Aponowitz. That'll be Leola. From Oregon, our 2024 Amateur U.S. National Champion is going to be your Rookie of the Year. That is Carlos. And for the women, Frankie. Should be the skater that is pushing the limits of the competition, reaching new heights for the sport, and a leader of the pack. Our first skater of the year, Joe McLaren. Our next skater of the year for the women, Haley
After the awards, we set up for tight slalom and got ready for more racing.
Let's watch Will Fogel take on our tight course. You can see it's a pretty tight course. It really makes you reach for some of the offsets as well, but you also have to make sure that you stay on your pace and stay on your line.
You really had to look ahead because the offsets were wild, and then the end had a tricky section that had a couple of gimmies to throw you to the finish line.
We moved into qualifying, so let's watch some of our skaters. Unlike in hybrid slalom, where you are seeded into your division based on your qualifying time, for tight slalom, the Texas Sizzler allows you to choose your class depending on where you want to start on the course. If you like to start at the top with the option of the ramp, you can ride in the A class. But if you'd like to start a little lower, because Hockley Hill is a little quick at the beginning, you have the option to start lower in the B class or move even lower to run in the C class. Once the A-class qualifiers were completed, we moved into our head-to-head bracket. In our top 8, we saw Joe McLaren take on Jonathan Harms, with Joe McLaren advancing. Colin Cruz and Lou Statman went head-to-head, with Colin Cruz advancing.
I did pretty poorly in my qualification run, so I got seeded 7th and had to go against Orion Lehrman, with Orion advancing on.
The only woman skater making it into the round of 8 was Lynn Kramer going up against Kyle Smith. Kyle Smith was able to move on that one.
The round of 4, Orion Lehrman went against Joseph Kyle Smith. Orion Lehrman advances into the finals just like yesterday. Joe McLaren and Colin Cruz went against each other, but this was weird because they both double DQ'd and Joe advanced based on qualifying time.
So in the battle to get on the podium, we saw Colin Cruz against Joseph Kyle Smith. Joseph Kyle Smith was able to grab it and take the 3rd place for the bronze medal. Wow. Just like in tight day, we saw Joe McLaren go head-to-head with Orion Lehrman for the finals. Both of these skaters are just wild to watch. You can really see them power through, make those offsets really quickly. Orion Lehrman was able to take home 1st place in the tight slalom. 2nd place went to Joe McLaren, with Joseph Kyle Smith taking 3rd, Colin Cruz finishing in 4th. And after that, we moved into the B division. B class started a little bit lower to avoid that top steep part of the Hockley Hill. For the overall results, Colin Cruz's giant slalom results really catapulted him into 2nd place, Joe McLaren in 3rd.
And congrats to Orion Lehrman for getting 1st place in 2025 Texas Sizzler.
Let's go! This race was was a qualifier for 25 USA Slalom Skateboarding National Team. This weekend, the pick for the women's was Frankie. For the men was USA Slalom Skateboarding's own secretary and longtime slalom skateboarder, Mr. Josh Byrd.
I was so stoked to get the spot on the team again. It was my main goal for the weekend. And also congrats to Frankie for joining for the second year in a row.
We want to give a big thank you to everyone that came out to the Texas Sizzler, but especially Marcos, our race organizer, Stephen Blaine, our timing extraordinaire, both of our drone operators, Scott Kamins and Ben Buckles, head cone master George Pappas, and all of the rest of the Texas Outlaws.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to tune in to our live stream at Luna Slalom Jam. We'll see you in the next one.